Yo, what is going on, everybody? I'm going to be doing a trade recap of Tuesday, 25th of August, how I managed to take 3 trades today, averaging almost 6 RR across all trades, and yeah, banking pretty hard today. So, I also have a trade recap from yesterday, which is gonna be shown on the second half of this video. So the first half of this video is gonna be today's price action, and then the next section is going to be yesterday's. Alright, so here's what I came into the market. So I came into the market wanting shorts. As you can see, based off my indicator, we had London lows, equal lows. We just had a bunch of liquidity below, which I wanted to come take. Yeah, so like all of these levels that I wanted us to come down for. And shorts did seem good, like just based off of pre-market, we dumped already 50 points before market even opened. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play market open. What I wanted market to do is open higher, then come down for London lows. We did eventually do that, just very slowly, so my bias was right, but the timing was just a bit off. So we came down here, put in a big rejection. I wanted longs now, for sure. So as you can see, 930 high was created. We instantly took it out. Indicator showed it. We created equal highs with this gap. Then we finally mitigated it. Now, this is the first setup I wanted. I wanted us to have this. So this is trade 1. When did we get it? Alright, so look at that. So this is our first setup. And our stop loss from this body to the 5-point increment, 15-point stop. Right? So this is a very good stop loss. Now if you enter, which is what I did, I entered here. So this was my setup, okay? So one thing I saw people talking about is, oh look, we're literally trading into a 2-minute. Is that 2-minute is just completely useless, and because this drawn liquidity is way, like almost 500% stronger than that 2-minute gap. So I'm gonna play price out, and look, immediately we start getting some crazy displacement. And what did we actually do here? And everyone who lost today shouldn't have lost if they were in my call yesterday. Because this trade did eventually go to stop loss. But if yesterday you were in my call, and only yesterday you would know that to go break even, because we put an SMT in. So that means, what does that mean? Normally this means nothing. And I normally completely disregard this because, as I said, the drawn liquidity will just be strong enough to destroy the SMT. However, this time it wasn't. And what I normally say is this SMT means nothing. But in this case, look what happened after that SMT. Look at that bullish reaction we had. And what did I say yesterday? If we get an SMT at our DOL, which we did here, and we start getting a bullish reaction, that means go break even. What happened once we did that? Let me go back on 30-second. Straight to stop loss. And some members in my Discord did unfortunately get stopped out. However, I managed to get break even because of this rule. So that was trade 1. So far, we're not at a loss and we're not at a win on the day. Now, what am I waiting for here now? I'm waiting for opening range lows and highs to be made. So I'm gonna skip to a few candles. Okay. Our opening range high is made, and look what happens immediately. It gets taken out. But look what happens here. And again, same thing. If you were on the call yesterday, I was discussing methods to pre-fire the drawn liquidity. So I did actually take this on one of the accounts that I'm not too bothered about, not on an eval, so not an XFA. I'm gonna delete this. Or should I keep it? No, I'll keep it. No, I'll delete it. So we have a we have an SMT here at this low, which is a reversal magnet for price. So this wants price to reverse now. So look, in about 2 minutes, our opening range highs and lows are going to be made. And now all I need to do is predict which one of them are going to be hit. So I'm going to play price out. So based off of what I'm looking at right here, we're failing to inverse this fair value gap. We failed to inverse it and we respected it. And whilst respecting it, we inversed an opposing gap. What does that mean? That means I'm almost certain that we're going to take out the opening range highs when we open. So this was my entry on an eval. I limited the gap to get the best RR. So I had a buy limit there. I got tagged in right here. Now, so this candle now, okay, so now, one more candle and the opening range highs are made. So what can we see here? A lot of the times, almost I would say 90% of the time, the candle prior to 9:45 makes quite a big move. So what did we do? We had quite a big move here to the upside. So this gives me reason to believe that the opening range high will get instantly taken. And it is risky, of course, because this could definitely just wick down. But this SMT, this failure to inverse this gap, and this rejection here with a protected stop loss gives me enough reason to think that this opening range high will be taken instantly. And if it doesn't, I go break even right when this candle opens. Just go break even. It saves you so much loss, so much chance for loss. But that would have been trade 2. We're currently at 1.4 RR on the day, 35 points. So that's $700. So this is definitely gonna be quite a newer approach to my intuition model, and that is pre-firing. Like I said literally yesterday, I'm gonna start incorporating SMTs and pre-firing the setup. And what literally, if you were on the call yesterday and you listened and you would have done that, you would have banked today. Alright, so that's trade 2. We're currently up on the day. Now I'm waiting for our last and final trade to the 6 a.m. draws on liquidity, which happened at 10 a.m. So now I'm waiting. Where's 10 a.m.? Right here. Okay, 10 a.m. opens. Now, what can we see here? If you have my indicator, you will know that this is probably the biggest magnet to price in the market right now. Read what is right here. We have the 9:30 low, opening range low, 6 a.m. low, and a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. If price doesn't go here, it's time to retire. That's how certain I was that we're going to come down and take that. Now, you could have had 2 entries to this. You could have either pre-fired it. Now, for 10 a.m., I would not want to pre-fire that much because 10 a.m. is probably one of the most volatile opens apart from 9:30. And we do have this FVGC setup right here. As you can see. This was your entry. And what I actually did and what I took is slightly a bit back. So I'll go back and show you. So let me explain my reasoning, because this is, again, pre-firing it, but pre-firing it with more context. Because if you look here, remember this gap? This gap failed to be inversed and sent price higher to these opening range highs. So I knew that this level is a strong level where price is held, and if we finally break this level, we're just gonna flush. So now, after that, I was still confident that we would take both. This would be a day where we take both the opening range high and low. So I still took this. So look, we had our gap, and look, like what? We displaced in 3 candles 50 points. If that's not displacement, I don't know what is. So our stop loss here would have been 25 points. and I was just simply targeting this unfilled 15-minute. Because I knew if we were to come all the way here, we would definitely come at least here. So yeah, I set a limit here. So this was me targeting the 9:30 low and opening range low, hoping that we would come down low enough to take it out when it becomes the 6 a.m. low as well. So look what happens. I get filled there, top take entry. And look what happens. We create these equal lows. What I did here is I went break even when we took these out. Okay, we took out those equal lows. You could have either went break even here or just right before 10 a.m. opens, because there's 2 minutes before 10 a.m. You could have went break even at the equal lows or when 10 a.m. opens. So assuming, like I did, you went break even at the equal lows, you'd be break even there. And now you're risk free. So if this setup does fail because of the 10 a.m. open, you're cooked. You get break even. So it's not a loss. You would still be up on the day, but it's just break even. However, if you don't, this abundance of draws on liquidity will get slapped and we'll just dump from there. So what happens next? We instantly take them out. Literally 2 minutes after the 6 a.m. low was made, we took it out. And that's something that I really like. When we edge a draw on liquidity, as we did here once and twice, a lot of the times we like to take it when it becomes a 6 a.m. low draw. So that's probably one of my favorite. When the opening range and 6 a.m. is paired as one draw on liquidity, that's one of my favorite things to target. So there we go. That's how you play it out. And that is full TP. 2.56 R, and how much drawdown? 3 points, not even a second of drawdown. And that would be setup number 3. What could you have done? You could have trimmed a partial, held all the way down to midnight open, which my indicator marks out, for 6.22 RR. And eventually we hit that. So just off of this single setup, it literally delivered us to dump for the whole rest of the day. You could have caught 155 points. Obviously that's silly, and I don't ever like to target that much because I like to just take what I know is going to get hit. So London lows were pretty sure of getting hit. I literally said in my bias that we'll likely see London lows. My bias is in the Discord. And we did take them. However, I didn't really feel like targeting them, so I just targeted wherever that 15-minute was. So yeah, now I'm going to explain to you why I pre-fired it, and yeah. So like I said, the only reason I took this is because of the displacement we had, and I knew that if we were to inverse, we would at least take the 9:30 low and opening range low. So forgetting the 6 a.m. low, I knew that we inverse this, we'll take out 9:30 low and opening range low, and then whatever the 6 a.m. low wants to do, if we want to reverse after that, I would be break even or take profit already. So after I went, so yeah, and we just had so much draws on liquidity below, so I was certain that this would get hit. Now, if you wanted to wait for more confirmation, and if you think this gap was slightly risky to take, which I think it was good because of our clear shift in order flow and how bearish we were. We literally dumped. We made 6 a.m. highs and dumped. A lot of the time, 6 a.m. high or 6 a.m. low becomes high or low of day. Yesterday was low of day. Today was high of day. So I knew that we would want to come and take this out. However, if you wanted to wait for more confirmation, you could have taken this gap here. So this is our fair value gap continuation model. You would have entered here. Your stop loss would have been right here. And you would have targeted a 1-to-1. So and you would have went break even when we took out the draws on liquidity. So if you did take this, you would have experienced some drawdown. We would have came down, took out the draw on liquidity, stopped you out at break even, then run to TP. So that was your second. If you didn't take the first setup, you would have taken this and got break even. Me personally, I was confident enough to take the first setup because I believe that we would definitely, after this move, take out the draws. So yeah, that's why I was pretty certain that this setup here would play out. That's why I did take it and literally top ticked. So yeah, any questions? Is it okay to take IFVG trade on an FVG that's been rejected on forward? Like, is it riskier or same? What do you mean? Is it as in if we take a mitigated inverse versus unmitigated inverse? Is that what you mean? Okay, so if an unmitigated gets inversed, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up for the YouTube. Alright, everybody who's watching from the YouTube, that is today's trade recap. So now you're gonna see the yesterday's trade recap right after this little section of the video. So yeah, you guys go ahead and enjoy that. And yeah. Alright, what is up? Today is Monday, 24th of August. I'm gonna be doing a price rundown and how today was. So very choppy and barely any setups presented today, but I'll just go through it and show you. So immediately we just dump on the first 30-second candle. Then here's the second, and right now I'm hoping we can sweep this out, come up and take out the 930 high. So I'm gonna show you. What do? We instantly take out the 930 low and London lows at the same time. So I'm hoping that we come up and take out this 930 high. As you can see, the indicator marks everything out. So no setup. Unfortunately, we literally just dump and chop around after. So then look, our opening range gets made, and again, instantly take it out. When this was happening, I knew for a fact we'd instantly take it out, but I was hoping we could at least maybe tap into this gap and I could just click sell as soon as I see it displays downwards. But unfortunately, that wasn't possible. We also had a daily volume imbalance and daily fair value gap down there just as targets. So here it is. And yeah, so again, nothing to the opening range. And now I'm just waiting for the 6 a.m. play. So I believe that is here. Okay, so what happens right at 10 a.m. So we have our 6 a.m. lows here. 10 a.m. is about to open, and what do? We just tapped into this 5-minute. So I'm definitely wanting us to see shorts. So 10 a.m. opens, as you can see, it's marked out here, and it opens a 15-minute fair value gap. What do? We edge the fair value gap, and we just run down lower. We create equal lows as well, take them out. And now here you could have taken this. Oh wait, you could have taken this somewhere like here. Your stop loss would have been 20 points and target here. However, we literally traded into this gap here and did not want that. So that this setup obviously fails. You could have went break even or whatever. But regardless, this gap, I'm just not trying to take a trade off of this gap. I was waiting from the start to take a trade from this gap here. We edge the inverse, and I'm waiting for this to get inverse, but at the same time, for my intuition model. So I'll just drag this down here. So at the same time though, look what we have here. We have this unfilled fair value gap, and I'm waiting for either this is what my situation was. Either we inverse this and I take it to the 6 a.m. low, or we get a fair value gap continuation model from this fair value gap. So what happens? There. So right here is your entry. Your stop loss is 25 points, and you're targeting the 6 a.m. low. So, yeah, this was what you could have taken. Right here is your break-even point, and this is actually what I took. So, instead of waiting for this to get inversed, we mitigated it, and we left this low within it. So I knew after we take this low, we're either gonna dump and inverse it, or we're gonna reverse, which is why I put it as my break-even point. So I took this literally was with one mini. I was trying to just get a base hit because Choppy Day, 2 entries didn't even present themselves. So I was just like, yeah, let me just hit TP and leave. So what happened? Got one break even there. And got stopped at break even. There. So that was trade 1. So now I was like, what should we do now? Because we also inversed this and saw no reaction off of it. So you may be wondering, oh, why didn't you just wait for this to get inversed? Like I said, we had this set up before, and I said earlier, literally yesterday in an announcement, if both are presented, I'll take the one that gives me better RR, this one, and whichever happens sooner and looks cleaner. Look at this, we had a nice displacing candle of around 15 points in one candle, so was waiting for that. And yeah, so if you didn't take this and you decided to take this one, your entry would have been either a limit at the gap or on the close. You'd be targeting this, and your stop loss would be, so this is the last body at the gap, it would be 30 points. And extend to 1-to-1 there. So this would have been your setup if you took the inverse. Could have probably went break even maybe. But then look what happens, you ultimately get stopped out. So if you did take this, the only issue I have with this setup is one, very choppy to inverse it, and also look what this is. Obviously very rarely mentioned, but we kind of have this rejection block here, and if you want, you could have went break even at it, and this trade would have got you out break even. But normally I just ignore this because the drawn liquidity is a lot stronger. So yeah, this is just one of those days where you either got break even in the first trade or just got stopped out entirely. However, something I do want to mention, and something I have been incorporating into my back tests, but I don't have enough data on it yet to add it into the strategy and tell you guys all about it just yet. But we did have an SMT. What does that mean? That means ES already took out this low. However, NQ didn't. What does that mean? We're likely going to trade away. So look what happened. We put in the SMT, we started reversing. So a lot of the times, what I like to do is when we get an SMT, I like to either go break even or manually close based off the reaction. Because let's be honest, these types of drawn liquidity are a lot stronger than any measly little SMT. We have this external SMT here. So what I like to do is maybe close if we get a reaction. So look what happened here. The SMT was put in here, but we kept getting more bearish and bearish until we had this. So if we get this type of reaction here, right here, this candle, this one, 12 points because of that SMT, I will likely manually close my trade because of that SMT. But like I said, I don't have enough data with these drawn liquidities with an SMT, so for now just disregard it. Maybe over the weekend I'll do something and let you guys know, but normally SMTs, like I said, are irrelevant. But regardless, you would have got break even or stopped out here. So yeah, that is it. That is our trade recap and indicator reveal. And yeah, If you guys want to purchase the indicator, join the Discord. My WAP link is there. Or if you simply just want to learn, join the Discord down below. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.